Welcome into a rather damp and still cool gardener's cottage here in Blakeney. It's now almost at the end of April and we've had an incredibly cool and damp April for the last couple of weeks. It has meant that things are coming on more slowly but also lasting longer. This Banks Lutea rose along the front of the cottage is only just starting to break out, but isn't it a beauty? Sprigs of these tiny little buttermilk creamy, almost yellow. They fade to an almost white colour over the course of their short blooming, lasts for about 2 to 3 weeks. We've got a lovely big mature specimen here, top bits along the front of the cottage, extending for about 20 feet right the way along, and it gives us a magnificent display. Usually a little later than this. It's been mild for it being cold now compared to where we should be. Early January and February here has been on the mild side, which means stuff's come on and overwintered in the green, much more so than would normally be the conditions here in Blakeney. This is white Comfrey, always a reliable self-seeding cottage garden plant. At this time of year it's speckled with these lovely little almost bluebell-like flowers when you look at them, held downwards but in quite a profusion, and the lime green of the foliage really sets them off nicely. It does tend to get a little bit of mildew later in the season, but by the time this is finished flowering it will have set seed, and we've got plenty of it coming up around this garden. It's a nice backdrop as a wild cottage garden plant, very easy to grow, tolerant of most soils and conditions. You can see it here on the driveway. The approach to the cottage just reliably comes back year after year in this position. Cut it back around the end of May, beginning of June, and every year it rewards you with this flush of flower. These Japanese anemones are really starting to spread out. You can see a little young one from a root sucker just starting to push its way through this gravel, but it's starting to encroach on the actual parking in front of the cottage. It's nice and easy to propagate from these, but you do need to get quite deep down. They are a lot deeper than you think, and in the very early stages like that have very little root on when you do separate them from the major plants, so it's best to let them get a little bit going before you start digging up and dividing. You may have a go at doing that with you later in this video. The other work we're doing here currently, we've been doing a lot of cutting back to open up this garden, taking up these shrubs that have been in here probably since the 1960s, trying to get some light under them and to give some of the plantings underneath a chance to get going. The choicea, that huge great flower mass that we've got beautifully flowering at the moment, was planted as a tiny little potted specimen back in 2004. Just look at it now, flowering beautifully, but again encroaching over the path, and we're going to give that a really good haircut, but we're going to wait until after it's finished its flowering season. Scent off it as well is absolutely spectacular in this quite enclosed and sunny wall garden. Now every so often you really have to take a chainsaw and give something a really good prune, and yes, it looks a complete mess for a while, but the border under here has been completely lost, and as you can see it's awash with ivy that's run from the hedge and fence beyond, and nothing was growing here. This little rose, buttonhole rose, had been struggling for years, gradually dying back more and more each year, but hopefully now if we can clear all this ivy off the base, and it's a real job getting that out, you literally do have to dig it out. We don't like to spray here if we can help doing so. We'd rather put the manual labour in and dig it out. Had another Banks Lutea, but this is the white variety here, not as thornless as the yellow Banks Lutea. Banks albia, is it? Banksia? I'm not entirely certain on the correct terminology for the name of this rose, but again it was supported in that big shrub, and we've not timed it particularly well in cutting that back, but we're still going to get a nice bit of flower on this aspect of it. But again, the plantings here, we've squeezed too much in, and the flowering current that you can see just coming to the end of its flowering season here is being swamped by the far more vigorous rose and the big red leaf prunus behind it. Again, we're just trying to cut everything back and reclaim some of the plantings that we've put in subsequently to give everything a bit more light. And Ted's got lots of new places to explore and sniff around in this garden as a consequence. This shrub is really tough. It will shoot from almost the base. You can see where it's layered itself. All these peripheral little plants are just where it's layered down, but just look at the figure of the shoots coming up from the base. So we've got no concern about taking this down. We could literally cut it down to the ground and it would shoot back and form a nice green bush within 12 to 18 months. Well, the Honesty self-seeded in this garden is doing a beautiful display at this time. It's all the result of a single plant that Kate brought over from the main garden and put under this pear tree. This is a flowering pear, silver-leafed, more for its leaf colour and structure than the actual flowers, which are quite inconsequential really and tiny. But underneath it we've got this lovely planting of self-seeded Honesty, and from last year we've got plenty of young plants coming on. Just look at this seed bed, self-seeded, plenty of little young Honesty plants. These are the ones which will grow on during the course of this year and give us this display next year. These will all be left. Honesty has the lovely translucent see-through green and then brown seed pods that if you can leave them structurally give you a fantastic display over the winter months, and then dispatch their seeds, and then they'll germinate the following spring as these are and give you a biannual flowering the season after. These from the house, if I just move position and show you, here we go, giving us this lovely display from where we sit within the house with the Honesty in the foreground. That lilac that is doing so much better since we gave it a really good haircut last season at the beginning and let more light to it by the little Mirabelle plum that was cut back in the garden behind us. But the combination of the lilac and the Honesty flowering simultaneously at this time of year really is very pleasing. I think we're going to try and repeat that by bringing more of those Honesty seedlings into this widened long border. Daffodils here in Norfolk just about come to the end, mainly been dead-headed, and what we've got coming up through them is the herbaceous geranium. Plenty of that that's doing very well in the back of this border. Perennial wallflowers that have just trickled down from the Carstone and Flint wall behind, and the Montana alba now really flowering beautifully, again really benefiting from the extra light that's getting. I think the rose here is going to be really good this year as well, absolutely covered in good sized rosebuds. Let's get that in focus, just look at that, plenty of promise in this plant. I think it's going to do very well. And the long view down here again, now we've opened this up with the wider patio, really does make the garden feel a lot bigger than it was with the former structures, which were coming up for 40 to 50 years old and getting a little bit tatty and dangerous. So we've removed all those, extended the patio, given a much more open feel to the garden, and by taking the canopies up on these very mature shrubs you get the long view under them and seeing the back borders behind. It really again gives you that element of size and structure into this garden. I think that's going to be the same now we've got a view onto that back fence. If we can get some bright plantings against the dark background coming up with the fresh growth on these shrubs, it's going to be far better than the heavy overhang of dark green that we had there previously. So I've got some jobs on. I think I'm going to go and try and dig some of those Japanese anemones up and get them potted on so we can extend that planting into different areas of this garden, and I'll make a video showing you how to do that in just 1 minute.